Hello everyone. So I've got a slightly different video today. So for the first time in I think over a year, I managed to go to a card show. And it was the Northwest Card Show in Warrington today. So it's one fairly local to where I live. And it fell on a weekend where I had time and the chance to go. So it was at the Warrington Rugby Ground, Warrington Wolves. I bought the early access ticket as well because I didn't mind getting up early and getting across to it. Because I know the card shows get quite busy, so I want a chance to be able to get my way around the room before the crowd's built up. So in front of me, I've got everything that I picked up on the day, and I sort of wanted to just share my thoughts on it as a show. So I guess the main thing from what I usually collect is I always knew it was going to be quite hard to find the cards I was after because my niches are quite small in the overall hobby. So bearing in mind that a lot of the card show presence is usually taken up by Pokemon. And that's not specific to the Northwest show, that's across the board. Most shows are dominated by Pokemon now. There's not really any, I think there's only really one or two dedicated sports shows. So when you're looking at less than half of the room as sports to start with, then finding the sports stuff that I wanted is quite small. So my main collections being Formula One, Leeds and women's football, they're all quite small niches within the sports side of things. So I did get some stuff and I'm quite happy with what I picked up. There's a couple of cards in particular I'm very happy with. The first thing I'd start with is I've got a stack of magnetic card holders. So I use these for my collection. So it was just picking up random sizes where I was short of. I've got 100 point, 130 point. It's all cards like this. I didn't buy this today, but you see these cards are a bit thicker. So you need this kind of size one to put the card into. So I brought a variety of sizes of magnetic card holders, which is one of the things I wanted to get at the show. I bought 3 boxes, not necessarily the products I was aiming to get. I was hoping to get maybe a F1 Paddock Pass box. Didn't see any Paddock Pass. The only F1 box I saw were at Sports Cards Direct Stand, and it was Chrome Hobby, way out of my budget, and to be honest, not worth the money. For the amount you have to gamble, you've got to get really lucky. And then they're qualifying lap boxes as well, which are rubbish. So I didn't want to go for either of them. There was no women's specific boxes, so I've just gone for some bits that I thought would be quite fun to open. So I went for, I think these were £21. So for a Chrome Blast, that's not too bad. MLS from last season's collection. So mainly went for these because you get 6 exclusive pink parallels. So just to show what one of them looks like, because I opened this box while in the stadium. So this is the pink X-Fractor. I put this one in, I think, if I'm right, if this is last season, this will be when LA Galaxy won the title. If it's the season before, they didn't. But Ricky Peake was one of the best players in the league last year. Then I got 2 number cards, 1 out of 125 and 1 out of 50, a Future Star one. So in terms of how blasters go, not too bad really. Another box I bought was a Panini Prism Premier League blaster from this year. Now I think the seller that had this probably lost track of how much these cost because they had it up for £20, but I think these are £30 retail. And you get these 21 blaster prisms. You get a lot of coloured cards in here, so I thought that'd be fun to open. And then I went for a Premier League Select Mega Box. So this is the biggest purchase I made on the day. I've never opened Select myself, and I think a mega box is worth the extra compared to a blaster, so I'm looking forward to opening that. And then the individual cards I picked up. So at Sports Card Direct stand, they had some bundles of cards for £25, 25p each, or I think it was 5 for £1. So I've picked up some F1 Finest cards, and these are the first ones I've managed to have in my hand, and I went purely for Legends. So I've got a bunch of Ayrton Senna cards, got one Alan Prost, a couple of Nigel Mansells. Then this is the they're called rare level cards. So these are the rarest base ones, and then a couple of refractors were in the same thing. So these refractors are very rare as base cards go. Then from the F1 Chrome set, this is the checker flag short print portrait of not Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hulkenberg. So I think this looks really cool, especially the Haas with the black and white. And then a couple of blue chrome paddock pass short prints of Hulkenberg and Gasly. None of these three are numbered, but they are just really nice cards. And especially if these are in the 25p section as well, so I was really happy to pick them up. That was all the F1 I got. Also from Sports Cards Direct, I think I picked up this Archie Gray as well, who as an ex-Leeds player, I was happy to pick that up. From a different seller, I got 4 cards for £1 each, which were these 4. They weren't priced up at the time, but they just said they were £1, and I was very happy to get them. I've gone for this, I think it's top class set, Phil Foden, and then as well Bukayo Saka. I have a full set of the inserts from the top class set the year before, but not from this year. And I also own this England shirt, so I quite like collecting any cards that I've got that England shirt on. And then I was a bit surprised about the value of these ones, because these were still £1. So these are World Cup Prism Silvers, so these are rarer than the normal base card and also shinier. So I went for the 2020 18 World Cup Manuel Neuer silver. And then this one is the one that surprised me the most. This is a 2014 World Cup Andres Iniesta silver that I also got for £1. And this set is one of the most popular in the hobby. So for such a good legend player, I was like, yes, I'm going to get that, because I don't have any good cards of Iniesta. From another seller, I picked up this, and you can see how much I paid for it. Silver Lionel Messi. So I've recently got the silver Lionel Messi from 24-25 Donruss, and this is the 23-24. I just think the silvers look really cool. I actually have already from this set. I already have the Kylian Mbappe silver, which I pulled out of the pack myself. So now I've got Messi and Mbappe. I think they get a bit overlooked, the silvers, because obviously they're not numbered. But I think if you just want to have a cool card, they're quite nice and very affordable to get. And then from one final seller, first one I bought from on the day. First of all, I got 5 match tag cards where the seller has collected the autographs in person over the years. So I tried sifting through and finding any ex-Leeds players that I could. So these were, I think, 5 for £10. So former striker of Leeds, a lot of years ago, but scored one of the most famous goals in the past 20 years, getting us promoted out of League One, Jermaine Beckford. A midfielder that we had in predominantly in the Championship, Bradley Johnson. And then one of my childhood favourites. I have a card with his autograph on before, but I don't think it's authentic. But when you look at the autograph in this one, it just looks like the player has signed that in passing. So I'm very happy with this one. Robert Snodgrass, definitely one of my favourite players growing up. And then I picked up as well Big Lukaku and David Moyes. I thought they were quite cool to own, so I went with those as well. And then the final cards I picked up some ex-Leeds players. I think one is technically still current, so I paid £5 each for these. So Lewis Cook came through the Leeds Academy, played for 1 year at Leeds back when I had a season ticket at that point. I think this is from one of the early top sets, yeah, 2016 set, Topps Platinum, back from when Topps previously had the license. 17-18 collection. I don't know a lot about the sets from this time, but Lewis Cook doesn't have a lot of autos from what I've seen, so I'm very happy to add this one. A player I do have an auto of, but not from this set, is Jack Harrison. So this is the 21-22 season. Again, really good price. I really like this set. I have a lot of cards, Leeds cards from this set, so I was happy to pick this one up. And then probably my favourite pickup of the day, another ex-Leeds United player. One of my favourites from when I used to go regularly to watch Leeds play. In the centre of midfield, Johnny Howson. Still playing now, so this is from the 2013 season. And he's still playing for Middlesbrough now. Never come back to Leeds, unfortunately. But he was really good for us in League One and in the Championship after he got re-promoted, and then was one of several players who went to Norwich. So I've been wanting to get one of these. I've seen them on eBay before and I haven't pulled the trigger, but I saw this and this was the first thing I pulled out today that I wanted to get. So that is everything I picked up today. So I was generally happy with what I got. I think I was there just over an hour and a half. I'd sort of gone backwards and forwards and exhausted my options. So I picked up my boxes after I picked up all my individual cards. There were some other bits, Leeds cards. I saw a couple of Leeds cards. They were either slightly out my price range or not ones I particularly wanted to spend the money on at this moment in time. The one thing as a buyer, and I've seen other people say online, that can be a bit frustrating is when you see people's cards laid out and there's no price on them, and then especially when then the seller has to work out what they want to charge you, because then it's hard to have any confidence in their pricing. I'm quite happy by myself, sort of, if I want to get a card and I'm happy with the price, I'll pay it. I'm not someone to check if that price is good. But if the card's got no prices on, it makes it very hard for you to, in your mind, work out what you want to try and pick up, because for instance, from this seller, I was straight away able to add up in my head, oh, that's £15, I'm fine paying with that. And then especially if that seller's cash only, but when they've got no prices on things, it makes it very hard for you to bundle it up and make it clear in your head how much you're about to spend. But in general, I think I'm fairly happy with what I picked up. The card supplies were a big thing I went for. I wanted to get some boxes to open because I don't get to do it very often, and I'm quite happy with the cards I picked up for my own collection. Maybe not quite as many F1 Leeds and women's cards as I would have liked, but I also didn't spend as much as I budgeted, so I can then go on eBay or whatever and pick up the cards that I do want. So in general, I quite enjoyed going to the show. It means you could just nerd out for a bit. I think the venue itself wasn't as good as a previous Northwest. I think I went to one of the previous Northwest card shows, and I don't think the venue was as good. I went to one at Oldham Football Ground, and the rooms were wider. The problem with this facility was it was in the South Stand concourse, and the concourse is quite narrow, so it was a long, thin room that was used, which made it very busy. And I got there early and it was already getting busy, and then by the time I left, it was very hard to move around. So it might be one where they maybe reflect on that. Personally, I found the interaction with most of the sellers all right. I didn't have any problems. Everyone was courteous enough, asking if I needed any help. As I say, I'm not a huge fan of the ones who didn't have pricing on stuff, and if someone did have pricing on, it was typically too high. I just walked away from the table. I saw the odd bit from buyers. To be honest, the behaviour of other buyers is more off-putting from what I saw than sellers, because some of the buyers were being very pushy and a little bit rude. So I understand from the seller's point of view, it might have been quite a tricky day. But in general, that was sort of my overall experience. So I'm going to open my boxes now, and I'll probably record those as well. So thank you everyone if you've actually watched this.